What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we're going to be talking about Camber Energy stock because this stock is continuing to explode today. We're up almost 20%, so let's take a look at the chart and see what's going on. As you can see, we are making new highs of $3.93. If you look back over the past year, that's higher than we've been the entire past year. Now, if you look back the past 2 years, we are not actually at our highs, right? We were at $8.80 just 2 years ago. But if you look, we're actually hitting a bit of a resistance level, which is likely why we're taking a small dip right here. Around $4, it looks like. It was acting as a resistance level around 2 years ago, very close to that time. And it looks like we are starting to actually bounce down just a touch. We're taking a little bit of a respite from this massive uptrend that we've been on over the past couple of hours. Basically, all of the trading day, we've just been shooting up and up and up, making new highs. So it looks like we are starting to take a little bit of a breather and start to retrace a little bit. Now, this is a very hot stock recently, right? This stock has actually been rising massively over the past 30 days. We were down at 33 cents, so we have well more than 10x'd, probably closer to 11 or 12x'd, and especially at these highs of 393. Now, what's very interesting about this stock is why it's pumping. It's actually pumping because of a couple of Twitter influencers, Mr. Zach Morris being one of them. I know I've talked about him on the channel in the past. And he basically just keeps tweeting about CEI. He has over 500,000 followers on Twitter. And he is calling for CEI to go to $5 and then $10 next. I can't find the tweet right here. Here he says $5 plus with this meme of the Power Rangers throwing a rabbit. And he has made other tweets about CEI going to $10. But there are other Twitter influencers who are also talking about CEI. Laid Back, for instance, nice retrace, hashtag CEI, going for $4 today. And it looks like this guy was right. 24 minutes ago, you can see we were not quite near $4, not nearly as close as we are now. And, he was tweeting about it probably back here when it was 360, but we have gotten very close to 4. We're going to see if we can break 4 today. It's very possible, especially if you look at some other influences that this company is having on it, right? So, first of all, this company, for those of you who don't know, they're in oil, right? They're an oil mining, an oil rigging company. And basically, they have a bunch of oil rigs in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. So that's what they do as a company. And the reason that's important is because of what's been going on with crude oil prices. Now, if we look at the 1 month, we can see what's been going on with crude oil and essentially see that it has been rising massively. Now, this is actually a big catalyst for CEI stock because, as Laid Back has tweeted, in the past, I think he said $200 oil would send CEI to the next galaxy. Now, while that's certainly true, I don't think we're going to see $200 oil quite yet. But the reason that CEI is a good fundamental play in a lot of people's minds is because it is an oil rigging company. And those companies tend to make a lot more money because their operating expenses do not increase that much with the price when the price of oil increases, but their profits certainly increase because they're able to sell that oil for a lot more. It becomes a lot more valuable. It doesn't make their existing rigs more expensive, though, at least not for the most part, right? They might have to pay a little bit more just in energy costs to run them, but they are also producing far more energy, right? That's their business. They're producing energy. So if energy is becoming more expensive, then they are making a lot more profit. And that is one reason why a lot of people are playing this stock and why it's been shooting up so much over the past couple of weeks, because a lot of people are worried about the price of oil and they've seen it rise and rise. And they are thinking that if oil keeps getting more expensive, then a lot of energy stocks are likely going to go up in value because they'll become much more profitable. And you can actually see, 2 years ago, we were trading at $8.80. That was back, oil was more expensive back then. And since we've actually been in a bit of a decline oil price wise, if we look, let's see the 2-year chart. Now oil is more expensive than it was 8 years ago, but you can see that there was a massive dip in oil prices, and we've just been trying to climb out of that. This was actually around COVID, which really killed a lot of these stocks. Now, what's interesting about CEI, in addition to that, is that it is very cheap and is a very affordable play for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't afraid to throw some money into this because they see a $3.97 share price. And especially in the past, when this stock was 33 cents, people were not afraid at all to be throwing money into it because basically the only place it could go was up. Obviously, it could go down, but people tend to view it that way. When they see a very cheap stock, they think that the gains on it could be astronomical and that there's very little risk. That's not obviously the case all the time, but in this situation, it was. There was actually quite a bit of potential gains to be made if you were buying back at these cheaper price points, and it's still relatively cheap. Looking at $3.97 compared to most stocks, it's still relatively cheap. Now, I will say that if you are running low on capital and you want to get some additional capital into Camber Energy, into CEI, or any stock, what you can do is go to the description of any one of my videos, get a free stock valued up to $2,300 on Webull. All you have to do is click this link. It takes you here. You get your free stocks for making an account. You get the first one. You don't have to deposit any money to get the first stock. You deposit $1 and you get the second stock. They're valued up to $2,300. That's a great deal if you guys are interested. Other than that, though, something that we have to look at with CEI is the short interest. You can see that we were taking a bit of a dip on one massive run-up in price. However, we are up again today, 11.18% increase in short interest today alone. A lot of shorts are coming in on this thing, and that's very surprising to see. What's very interesting about that is that even though there has been massive increases in the number of shorts, we've still seen massive increases in the price. We're up over 20%, and the shorts haven't really been able to hold us down. Now, these shorts could potentially, in the future, be turning into big buyers of this stock, especially considering that the short interest is currently at 37.8% of the free float. If we continue to see a lot of price momentum and a movement in the price above $4, above $5, then a lot of these shorts would likely get worried, and they would then have to be covering, and we could actually see a large decrease in the short interest on some of those days and massive increases in the price. And that might actually be an indication to regular traders. I'll be keeping an eye on this, but that might be an indication to people who aren't shorting and who have bought this stock a while ago, that might be a good time to start selling out of this stock, right? Start offloading your shares onto the short sellers, because once the short sellers are covering, unless there's more rotating in, then there is one less catalyst that could be pushing this thing even further, right? And that might not happen until, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, that these shorts actually start having to cover, depending on their constitution, right? How invested they are in this stock and how much of a belief they have in the idea that it will eventually go down. But there are a lot of reasons why shorts might want to cover, right? Not just increasing price, but increasing oil prices could lead these shorts to believe that this company is more sound than they thought at $4, right? They might currently think oil prices don't justify a $4 stock price. But in the future, if oil prices start rising quite a bit, then it might actually fundamentally justify the $4 stock price in those shorts' minds, and they would probably want to get out of that, especially if oil prices were rising that much. Now, another thing to note with CEI stock, you can actually see another very popular stock overlaid on this chart. CEI is in blue and BBIG is in red. CEI has recently overtaken BBIG, which is a massive short play that a lot of people are interested in, and I will likely be uploading a video on it later today to discuss what's been going on with it. But you can see that CEI has really overtaken BBIG in interest on Google. It's much more popular on Google search interest-wise. It has a ranking of 75 as compared to BBIG's ranking of 22. So a lot of people are talking about CEI. This is a really big play that a lot of people are interested in. It's already more than 10x. And if you look at BBIG, I'll save that for the other video. But you can also see that on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, this is the case as well. CEI is ranked number 7. It's up 2 spots, up 13% mention-wise over the past 24 hours. And BBIG, Vinco Ventures, is down at spot number 12. So CEI is definitely outperforming a lot of these stocks. And it's actually really just some of the main stocks that are actually beating CEI. Tesla, AMC, GameStop. Those are huge names. And there aren't many other of these small cap plays that are beating CEI. Like you can see, Smile Direct Club is another kind of short squeeze stock that a lot of people are interested in, but it's not quite beating. It is beating them on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, but we'll see how long that lasts for. It's not actually beating them price wise. If you have actually looked at the SDC chart, you'll see that Smile Direct Club has not been beating them in terms of gains that people could have made on the stock, as well as Ethereum, right? Ethereum has been doing fairly well. And it is still relatively highly ranked on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. We'll have to see if that continues, if CEI doesn't overtake all of these stocks. You can see it's a very bullish chart that you can see right here. CEI has definitely been increasing massively mention-wise and upvote-wise on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. So very interesting stuff that we're looking at with CEI. I think that there's a lot of potential in this, but it's important to keep in mind that at some point, what goes up must come down. Unless, of course, oil prices go to the moon and actually blow this stock into the next galaxy. Eventually this thing will have to come down at some point. So what's very important is to maybe, as the situation adjusts, to identify some points at which you're going to want to start taking profits, whether it be slightly before $5 because I know $5 has been a rallying call for this stock. A lot of people think it's going to 5, and that means that, if that ends up being where people perceive the end to be, they'll likely start selling a little bit before 5. And some people will be trying to get out even before those people. So it's a very risky game to play to actually, say I'm going to hold until 5 if people say that's where it's going. Of course, there are some people saying it's going to 10. There are some people saying it's going into the next galaxy. So, that could be very high. You'll really have to watch this situation as it adjusts itself and see what you think is going on with CEI at the time. And it doesn't hurt, though, to put some price points down and start taking some profits, right? If you have a very large position in this, you may as well take some profits at some point. Once you've, if you've doubled your money, you might want to take off 50%. So you've eliminated all your risk, and then you just have the house money to be playing with. That's a potential idea. Obviously, it's not financial advice, but I do like to trade more cautiously, and I would hope that you guys would as well. Other than that, guys, that's all I really have for you on CEI. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, feel free to like the video, use that Webull referral link to get up to $2,300 worth of free stock, and subscribe to the channel. That's all I've got. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.